Hey, what's up you guys? The frame is just slightly crooked because the tripod that I put my phone on, because I still don't have a camera, is like loose and I can't deal with it. Anyway, oh, also, I'm repping my Tokyo Disney sweatshirt. Okay, anyway, none of that is important. What is important is the Jeffree Star concealers and setting powders that I got in the mail like 5 minutes ago. And I'm gonna be honest, I already opened them because I was excited. So I put them back into the boxes to show you guys, and this is the concealer. Look at that. This is the unicorn for the concealer. Is that what it's called, a unicorn? And it has this cool, like, reflective, is it called holographic? Kind of sheen to it on the front, and actually it's all around. And it is called the Magic Star Concealer. It says this product is vegan and cruelty-free and formulated without parabens, fragrance, or talc. I got the shade C1, and I'm going to be showing you guys that today. I also got the Magic Star setting powders. I got the shade Translucent. It comes in this baby pink box, and it's kind of ombre on the back. It's also cruelty-free, and the side of the box says weightless, flawless, ultra fine, set your life into place, creasing who can't relate. And I should have started the video off with the welcome to my channel. It says to press lightly into skin wherever you desire. I love using a damp beauty sponge to press the product into the skin so that the powder melts and looks airbrushed. So I'll probably do one side with a brush like I usually do, and one side with a damp sponge to do it the way that Jeffree says to do it. Because I like to always try to use products the way that people recommend you use them, because that's probably the way they work best. Also, I'm definitely excited to see, because winter is ending and my skin is a little less dry. As you can see, it's the end of the day and I haven't worn makeup today and my face is a little bit oily. So I'm going to show you the actual product when I get to it in the steps of my makeup routine. So I'm going to moisturize, because I always do. But anyway, as I was saying, winter is ending and my face is still very dry, but a little less than it is in the winter. So I do have a little bit of oil on my forehead, a little bit of oil on my nose. So we'll see how the setting powder and the concealer work with my dry under eyes versus with my kind of oily forehead right now. And I am going to put on foundation. I'm going to use the Nars Sheer Glow foundation, and then I am going to come right back. Okay, so the foundation's all on. So before my foundation starts to crease into my smile lines, because it does that, I'm going to hurry up and put on my concealer. This is the component of the Magic Star Concealer. It has like a pink cut gem top, and it kind of flares out at the bottom and looks cut too. And then it has this little star at the top. And I know a lot of people were saying online that this looked really fragile, but it feels pretty sturdy, and this does not feel cheap. Like it's pretty heavy, and especially this top piece feels really sturdy and thick. So it's definitely doesn't feel cheap. It feels really nice and luxurious and like you got your money's worth. I forgot to tell you guys, this concealer and the setting powders, no matter what shade, they're all $22. There's also 2 color correctors. There's 30 shades of concealer, and I believe there's 8 shades of powder. And he did say that he's planning on extending the range out a little bit more, but for right now, this range is what we have. I'll show you when I open it. Actually, I'll show you right now. The concealer has a diamond-shaped applicator, and there's a hole in the center, and it allows for multiple swipes of concealer, according to Jeffree, which I think is true, because there was a lot of product on that, and I definitely didn't even use half of it putting it on my under eyes. So I just put it on my under eyes as I always do, and now I'm going to blend I'm going to blend this side first just to see how it works. I actually might have gotten a shade too light. This concealer looks white. They do have a pure white concealer as well, but this one is not, and it's very, very, very light. But that's good, because there are people who are lighter than me. When I turn this way, it's not too light. But it's definitely super bright. But once I do powder and bronzer and everything, I don't think it'll be that light. But that blended out super easily. There was no weirdness. I do have fine lines under my eyes. And a lot of concealers, even my favorites, I've never found a concealer that doesn't settle into them very badly. And they kind of make me look older. Which that's not a problem. Some people just have fine lines. It's not something to be embarrassed about. But they are there and they are annoying to me. So I'm curious to see how this concealer will deal with that. As well, I'm also putting it over my eyelids a little bit to kind of trying to like cancel out the brightness so that it looks like my face is all like that. I can't believe I found a concealer that's too light for me. Because this is real light. Is this how light my other concealer looks? Am I crazy? That blends out really easily. Like, it is a very thick concealer, but it blends out really well. And I don't see a trace of my dark circles. And I do have just like genetic dark circles. This little teeny tiny bit right here is all I see. And I mean, I didn't even put that much concealer on, so I don't see any on this side. Crazy. I'm gonna run just a little down my nose. The applicator does hold a lot of product, by the way. That's crazy. And I'm gonna see how it blends on the nose. A little goes a long way. I'm gonna have to end up putting it on the forehead because I put too much on my nose. And it's not really settling into my fine lines very badly. A little bit on this side. But it's actually not settling that badly at all in comparison to most other concealers I've used. And especially for the fact that it's been on my face for a little while I've been talking and stuff. And it's really not creasing or settling very badly or anything at all. Like some concealers, if you look down, then you're done. So I really like that. And I think this side of my face looks a little better because I put a little bit less concealer, so it's not as white. This is better for me. I just use too much on this side. Definitely a little bit goes a long way. This is how much I would normally use. This is too much because it's a little bit too light. But that's not the concealer's fault. That's just, I don't know how to pick my shade online. So the next thing I'm going to use is the Magic Star setting powder. Wow. It's like flashing in the camera. Is the Magic Star setting powder. It comes in like this pinky chromed top, and I already pulled the sticker off because I wanted to touch the powder. But when you first get it, it looks like this, and you turn this little knob and there's a sticker covering so the powder's not flying out the way it is now. And I got the shade Translucent. And what I like to do with powder is just dump it into the lid so that I have somewhere to dip my brush or sponge into. And on the box it says that he prefers to use the powder by tapping it in with a damp sponge. So that's what we're gonna do on this side. Is I'm just gonna, here's the powder, and I'm just gonna dip the sponge in. I got too much. No, too much powder. I just dipped the sponge in like that, and I'm gonna set it under my eye. Wow, that's a lot of powder. This is why I don't like, it smells like cotton candy. This is why I don't like to use damp sponges, because I feel like they just distribute a little bit too much product for me, because I don't use as much powder as normal people because I'm very dry. But I did want to give it a shot the way he says to. I'm trying to use a little less for the rest of my face. It does smell good. But once it kind of gets on your skin, I can't really smell it anymore. I'm only really smelling it when I'm dipping the sponge in and then running the sponge under my nose. And it's not an overwhelming smell. I do like it. And I don't usually like candy scents. And I have to admit that I'm not a huge fan of Jeffree's other fragrances. Like, some of his liquid lipsticks are fragrant. Some of them smell like root beer and some of them smell like creamsicle. And I'm not a huge fan of those. But I do like the smell. The concealer is not fragrance. My face feels set to the gods. Like, it feels locked in. And I feel like it blurred every single imperfection that I've ever had in my entire life. This stuff just concealed and blurred my past, my grades. This looks really good. So on the other side, I kind of liked it with the sponge after I put it in. This doesn't look powdery at all. Like, it does not look like there's any powder sitting on my skin. It just looks like my face. It just looks like my face, but just way better than my face. I'm going to use this part of the sponge that doesn't have powder on it and tap out the creases that have accumulated just a little bit from where I've been talking. And I'm going to dip my brush into the powder that is left and use about that much. And I'm going to set under my eye. This concealer has a lot of playtime. It blends out and sets pretty quickly, but it doesn't dry too fast when you're trying to blend it out. I feel like this powder adds a little bit of coverage too. So it's not like doing anything crazy. Like, it's not taking too long to set, but it's not setting too fast to where it's hard to blend. And what I would normally do is take a different fluffy brush. Where's my normal fluffy brush? Normally what I would do is take a different fluffy brush. This is my crown brush. I'm kind of making sure that there's no excess Lancome powder on it. And I'm gonna set the rest of my face with this big fluffy brush. This powder is loose, so it is kind of messy, but I prefer loose powders, and all of the loose powders I've ever used are insanely messy, so I'm not mad about it. I didn't even need that much, and my whole face is good. Oh, also in this powder, you get 0.353 ounces or 10 grams of product. Let's look. I think both sides look good. I think I slightly prefer the side that I put the powder on with the brush because there was a little less powder on this side, so it just looks a little bit more natural. Even though they both look pretty natural to me, I do like the under eye that I set with the sponge better, so I might set my under eyes with the sponge and then put the powder on with the big fluffy brush. But my skin feels really soft. You can't see any of my pores at all, and my nose isn't cracking or doing anything weird. Everything looks awesome. My smile lines aren't getting creasy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do all the rest of my makeup, like full beat, and then I'm going to come back and let you guys know my final thoughts and how the concealer and the powder wore while I was putting on the rest of the foundation. Not the foundation, while I was putting on the rest of the makeup, and how things blended on top of it, and how the setting spray looked on top of it, and everything like that. So I'll be back in just a minute. Okay guys, so I finished my makeup. I tried to do kind of like a pink beat in honor of Jeffree Star, because that's his favorite color, to celebrate his launch, and it is an excellent launch, and you guys, I highly recommend this to you guys. The concealer isn't really settling into my lines. Like I said, it's settling into a couple just a little bit, but I have kind of deep fine lines, and it's not. Please ignore my janky eyelashes. What is happening? Anyway, ignoring my janky eyelashes, the concealer didn't really settle, and usually by this point it does. Also, usually by the time I finish my makeup, my foundation has kind of sank into my smile lines a little bit, because I have kind of annoyingly deep smile lines, and it hasn't sunk in at all. It just goes right back to where it's supposed to be. My face looks super smooth and airbrushed, and I don't know, I just think all in all it looks really nice. Obviously, I'm going to test it out more, see how it lasts through like a whole day, because right now it's like 9 o'clock at night. And give it the whole run through, but definitely for first impressions, it's amazing. Jeffree always kills it with his formula, so I wasn't surprised. I'm a huge fan of his brand. I try to do like a full Jeffree theme. I have the Bloodsugar on my eyes, and this is a Jeffree highlight, and then I have one of his lip ammos on my lips. But yeah, I'm super impressed with the concealer. I think I even like the setting powder more than the concealer. I'm super obsessed with the setting powder, and I highly recommend it. I feel like $22 is a steal for how good this formula is. Replaces any concealer you own right now, throw it away and buy this immediately is what I'm saying. And the setting powder, same there. And especially for $22, it's almost half of what I pay for my Lancome powder, and I think it performs better. So I'm really excited, and I'm really excited. My face looks really good right now. So also, before I go, I want you guys to tell me what you think about my eyebrows, because I actually filled them in today. I didn't just do brow gel, I actually filled them in with a pencil, and I want to know if they look good. So tell me that in the comments too, and tell me in the comments if you're buying a concealer or a setting powder, and if you are, what shade. Tell me what you think of the shade range. I think it's a good shade range. I think it pretty equally distributes between light and dark colors. But let me know all of that tea in the comments, and I can't wait to see you guys next time. Bye guys!